All right, let's start. Greetings, everyone. My name is Tony Schneider, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. Welcome to the LeverX SAP EWM webinar. We have a jam-packed schedule for you today. But before we start, a few rules, okay? First of all, this webinar will be recorded and available after the meeting. So if you need to leave, that's quite all right. Return to the webinar, no problem at all. You can catch the recording. Second, please make sure all your phones are muted at this point in time. And third, we want to make this an interactive session. So please feel free to ask questions or submit questions through the chat function on the call. So let me start with a short introduction on our speakers today. The first is Richard Kirker from SAP Labs. Richard is the solution owner for warehouse management at SAP. He has more than 25 years of experience working in SAP consulting and solution management areas. He interacts with a broad range of SAP customers, businesses, technology partners across many industries and regions. His experience prior to SAP was primarily in logistics and various international companies. Richard has a BS in economics and an MBA. Next, I'd like to introduce Dmitry Antonovich. Dmitry is our solution director for digital supply chain at LeverX. Dmitry has over 17 years of experience at SAP. He has a deep technical understanding of SAP solutions and architecture. And I can say, as I've been working with Dmitry, he is very, very knowledgeable in these areas. And finally, myself, I'm your moderator, Tony Schneider. I recently retired from SAP after 21 years of service. I started out as an WM consultant at SAP. I have experiences in SAP discrete industries, utilities, public sector areas, and I am the director of sales for LeverX for supply chain logistics. So let's go to the agenda today. Our agenda today, we're going to start off with one slide is just a high-level slide on the SAP EWM Evolution. Then we're going to go into more detail. Dmitry is going to talk about the EWM high-level overview, the 5 reasons why to choose SAP EWM, and then Richard's going to talk about what's new in SAP EWM for 2022. We're going to follow that with a live demo. We have 2 quick demos to talk about, do a customer use case, and then we'll do a conclusion afterwards. So if we can go to the next slide, please. I just wanted to talk and just going to give you a quick little pitch on who we are, LeverX. LeverX is an SAP Gold partner. We've been around, we've been working closely with SAP for 19 years. We have over 1,500 employees, over 800 clients. We've done over 950 successful projects, of which approximately 55 are EWM global projects. So we do have strong experience in this. We have 14 offices and we operate out of 10 different countries. So let's go to the next slide. All right, the SAP EWM Evolution. I wanted to start off with this slide just to give you a little background, a little history on the evolution of WM, EWM, IM. SAP, the green section showed the evolution of SAP, IM, WM, and LES solutions from the early 1990s to the early 2000s, right? In 2002, SAP started the development of SAP EWM and supply chain management on the NetWeaver stack. EWM, and we're in the yellow section right now, was EWM was formerly came out in with SCM EWM 5.0 in about 2005, 2006 timeframe, and there it moved to SCM EWM 7.0. Around 2014, we actually started up with SAP S4 HANA scenario, right? Which moves us into the blue section. When we got into the blue section here, we actually took on 2 different paths in 2016, all right? EWM on SCM NetWeaver with release 9.0 that moved to 9.5, now it's grown to 9.5 on SCM NetWeaver. And there's one point I want to talk about briefly, and we'll address this a little later, is there will be no further innovation after SCM SAP EWM 9.5. So that solution is going to stop with the major innovations, from my understanding. Meanwhile, the secondary path on this is with the implementation of S4HANA. EWM and S4HANA continues with a yearly release, from the initial release on EWM 16.10 all the way through the new release, which is SAP EWM 2022, which Richard's going to talk to you about in a little bit. Now, I'm going to turn this presentation over to Dimitri to discuss high-level overviews. But before we do, I want to, I would like to take a poll of our audience to see what is their current WMS solution they're on. So, Sharu, is there, there we go. Thank you very much. So if everybody could take the time out to take a look, and we'll talk about this a little later. We'll give you the poll results. But we'd like to find out, what is your current solution that you're using today? Warehouse management, EWM, S4HANA, hybrids, other WMS solutions, so, or none. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dimitri, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the SAP EWM solution, high level. Dimitri?
Thank you, Tony. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody who joins. Thanks for your time, for joining us today. Each industry has its specific functions. Either you are in the automotive and needs kitting or just-in-time delivery of products to the conveyor, or you are in a life science and require track of batches or running quality management. Maybe you are in retail and merchandise cross-docking, pick to cart, and managing returns are critical for you. As Tony mentioned, within 30 years of SAP EWM Evolution, it covers almost every industry. Even banks, can you imagine, run EWM. Guess how they're using it? Well, they manage their archives using SAP EWM solution. Covering various industries, SAP EWM also provides a comprehensive solution for various warehouse types, such as distribution centers with complex processes and high volume, production warehouses with just-in-time, in-sequence support, staging and consumption of products, as well as producing to stock. Cross-docking or transit warehouses is a great solution for logistics and transportation companies. And of course, service parts warehouses with low to high complexity, high volatility, kitting and value-added services, and serial numbering. Well, we all know, we're all familiar that every warehouse, there are core processes that need to be executed. We're talking about inbound operations, storage and operations, outbound processing. But would you like to have a 20% increase in efficiency of task managed assignment within your warehouse? Are you looking for a reduction of time for order processing up to 15% or even more? How about 30% improvement in execution control and alert monitoring? With SAP EWM, you can schedule and turn around your goods receipts and order returns faster, reduce dock waiting, and help ensure higher resource productivity while allowing flexible and automated handling of large volumes of items and orders even as you scale your business. Let's jump to a little bit more detailed overview of those processes. SAP EWM can help you enhance a wide array of core inbound processes, including receipt and validation for advanced shipping notifications. Many of us using these processes in everyday warehouse operations. Goods receipt and receipt optimization. This is critical one. Determination of put away and put away bins. Internal routing for allow to granular modeling and tracking of movements in the warehouse. Internal routing to allow for granular modeling. Deconsolidation to enable efficient put away by storing and packing goods in receiving. Returns management, and this is where I want to emphasize, it also works for e-commerce, for efficient identification and disposition of return goods and reinsisting them in your supply chain. And of course, direct receipt from production. This is something we're going to talk a little bit later today, and we'll see it live in our demo. Storage and operation. You can optimize the activities that helps manage goods in inventory and move them within your warehouse so that you can track them even at the lowest level of detail and improve your facility utilization. SAP EWM helps to direct storage and internal processing, including physical inventory processing and record verification to reduce inventory counting and manage inventory balances on an ongoing basis. Slotting, replenishment, rearrangement, and stock consolidation capabilities can to optimize storage and maximize facility utilization. Keyed into stock and value-added services are also part of the operations. They can help to accelerate speed to shelf and offer customized product kits and personalized deliveries to customers. And of course, automated warehouse billing to allow activity-based electronic billing of warehouse cost to customers and payment to warehouse vendors. Now we're going to go to details about outbound processes. With SAP EWM, you can improve your overall customer order fulfillment KPIs. You can reduce delivery lead times and limit order inaccuracies while scaling to meet high levels of demand and serve multiple fulfillment channels. Robust and advanced features of outbound processing warehouse includes transportation unit management to efficiently manage the flow of vehicles in your warehouse and support shipping and receiving operations. Warehouse order creation, wave management, optimal route, and picking bin determination. Picking itself, packing, staging, load management, and goods issue. And we also talk about inbound keying processes, keyed into stock. Here we're talking about keyed to customer-specific orders, direct outbound deliveries, production, supply, and production staging and consumption. While all those processes are typical processes for the warehouse, EWM takes SAP took a lot to build in optimization to make those processes as efficient as possible. So let's look into some of those details. Within core SAP, optimization is available through the entire solution, where creation of, for example, creation of optimal work packages, such as work orders, internal routing to reduce picking and put away processes, interleaving for internal movements. If we're looking into those optimization, wave management takes the work optimization to the next level by optimal grouping of warehouse orders to control warehouse activities. Wave planning could be executed automatically, semi-automatically, or even manually. And business, I want to emphasize this, business users can maintain wave templates to define how those waves could be created and released. We're talking about optimization. Organization and pallet planning is one of the innovations within the EWM latest releases. It leverages advantage packaging built-in optimization algorithm that utilize product data, product weight, height, and volume, and using predefined picking systems, picking sequence. And you saw already stock consolidation on various previous slides. So I just want to emphasize that it allows you not only to consolidate partial quantities into complete, but it's more important, and it's for life science, for everyone who manages batches, it allows you to consolidate different batches on the same batch characteristics with dedicated tolerance times. Optimization without transparency doesn't bring you the results you might be expecting. World-class analytics is a core part of SAP EWM solution. Like Rothschild said, who owns the information, he owns the world. What would you like to know about your warehouse? Are there any bottlenecks or shortage of labor or dock appointment conflicts? You name it. Generally speaking, built-in analytic is a core part of EWM solution. There are several ways you can consume information within EWM, and those are warehouse monitored for the day-to-day operations with more than 400 standard reports. Stock, deliveries, warehouse tasks, labor management. You can get access at a couple clicks at your fingertips. CDS views. This is where you can collect and establish information from various sources of your SAP environment, and not only from your SAP environment. There are 33 out-of-the-box CDS views that can help you bring additional information to your daily operations. And of course, KPI dashboard. This is a standalone application that you can use for C-level reporting. You can use it for day-to-day operations as well, because you can run it on your mobile devices, on your tablets, and it's very flexible and it's very configurable. But I again want to emphasize this is something that is very critical for you to bring these details to your management, to show where your progress is going or where your slowdown and bottlenecks are. With this KPI dashboard, it's flexible to set up different views and different cards, we name them, at your fingertips, and this information is updated once there is live update information happens in the backend. With all that, we're getting closer to those 5 reasons of why to choose SAP EWM. We've been talking about core processes, coverage, 30 years of experience. We combine here 5 of those reasons we think at LeverX, based on our experience with our clients and working closely with SAP, those that we think will drive your business to success using SAP EWM solution. So first of all, the business of running a single solution extends to creating an environment where all processes, including those for planning and execution, product development, warehouse, quality, and transportation, can be easily integrated to provide easy end-to-end operations. EWM is one of the core products of SAP Digital Supply Chain for Logistics. It integrates seamlessly with transportation management, yard logistics, IBP, integrated business planning. It goes deep dive into sales and procurement, where you have stock and sales order integration, purchases, stock transfer orders, you name them all. Production planning, we'll see it later today, and so on. Accelerated implementations is the second reason we would like you to consider EWM solution for your warehouse. Can you imagine you can get an EWM solution in your warehouse in about 3 months? It doesn't sound real, but with SAP best practice approaches, it's a years of collaboration with companies and customers, collecting their feedback and bringing comprehensive solutions in the core of SAP product. The next reason is SAP is very flexible in the way how you can bring EWM into your environment. If you're an SAP client and maybe you're not in S/4HANA yet, you can still run EWM as its decentralized implementation on S/4 and get all the benefits of the solution. It connects to your backend system, it can run as a sidecar, or it could be part of your embedded implementation on your core system. There are various licensing models that can help you to maybe sense and taste the solution using the basic functionality that is part of your core license of your S/4HANA. And this might be the way for you to go to the advanced functionality to fulfill and all your needs of your business. I already talked about analytics, but this isn't one of those core items we're looking into EWM, where information, again, who owns the information, he runs the world. And neither to mention continuous innovation. You saw the evolution during the 30 years of experience of SAP EWM. Annual releases provides you continuous innovation on those best practice approaches and helps you to stay up to date with a changing world, changing environment. And with that said, I would like to pass this to Richard, who will talk about new features in the SAP EWM for 2022. Richard, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dimitri. So just a quick update from my side. Last month, we came out with our latest release of EWM in private cloud and on-premise editions. And this is basically following an annual release cycle. And as usual, we kind of categorize what the innovations are. I'll just speak to a few of them, but you see they cover integration, areas of production, some industry specific or things that could be used more in certain industries, what we call continual improvements, innovations, and additions to usability. So under the area of integration, I want to maybe highlight is some additional processes using the unified package builder. And if you're not familiar with this, we introduced it in the previous release. And it's a way to use the different objects of different applications that have to do with how material is packed. So in the logistics component of S4, you have a packaging instruction that can be used in deliveries. In TM or transportation management, you have a load builder. And in EWM, you had the pack specs or packaging specifications. And so with the unified package builder, like when you're processing a goods receipt using MIGO, for example, or on the RF, you can have rules in place which select which one you want to use. So if you need to have palletization done on the inbound automatically, and you already have, let's say, a packaging instruction for that, and then now to use EWM, you don't have to go and create another object. And so we've extended the number, or we're continue adding the processes in which the unified package builder can be called to select the appropriate packaging document. In the area of production, I'd like to say a few words that we really see in the past years, a lot of companies using EWM in combination with production. And we have continually rolled out a lot of integration with MES, some open APIs. We have this product MES triggered staging in this release, but one I think is quite unique is work in process handling. So typically, if you wanted to have an intermediate good go in and be used in the warehouse, you had a multi-level bill of material, and you would close a production order for the intermediate material, store it, and then bring it back to be consumed in another production order. With this work in process handling that works very tightly with MES systems, we can actually create a non-valuated material that doesn't need the multi-level BOM, as I described. It will store the information from the MES, which is very detailed, and you can take it into the warehouse and then stage it to the next work center as needed and directed. And that's another, I think, great innovation with EWM, because as SAP, our solutions work very well together. We use common data, and we can handle production processes very, very well in a seamless manner. Going over in the industry one is stock segmentation, and this is typically a lot of retailers have the need for this, and this is a way to categorize stocks based on characteristics where you may have certain, let's say, sourcing characteristics such as country of origin, and you have the same material that comes from different countries, and then you may have a customer base that has certain preferences or requirements where they, for example, will not take material sourced from certain countries. And that's just an example, but now that is supported with EWM as well. And that's a S4 functionality now that EWM also supports. Under the continuous improvements, one I'd like to highlight is the area of RF. So with ITS Mobile and with our RF framework, you were able to modify the screens, but with this release, we have released alternative to ITS Mobile that doesn't replace it, but it's an alternative called Mob GUI or Mobile GUI, and it still works with the RF framework. But a nice enhancement of this, it allows you to use the screen personas that some of you may be familiar with from Fiori to easily modify the RF screens. And it's more of a easy drag and drop, or using a little menu to where you can change the size of buttons, the colors, in completely non-programming way. And we know that RF screens are heavily enhanced on every project to suit the individual customer, and that's a nice feature. I'll be talking about warehouse robotics on the next slide, and just another thing on usability or if we could go back one more, sorry, Dimitri. We've extended and created more Fiori apps in this release, and as indicated earlier, the warehouse monitor is one of the main tools of reporting. And so every time we've added a new feature, there are new things in the monitor as well, not only new nodes, but new methods where you can actually do postings and changes, etc. And now we can go to the next slide. So earlier this year in May, we released a complementary solution called SAP Warehouse Robotics. It's a cloud-based solution designed to help you connect robots of different manufacturers and for different processes quickly and easily to EWM, and to manage the communication between them. So we, in this first release, we are supporting point-to-point movements of handling units. We have another release coming early next year where we'll extend to also connecting to fleet management systems. We've signed up a number of robot vendors as partners. And this is a very exciting area in logistics because of the resource constraints that everyone is facing all over the globe. And we have a customer, Bechtle, that is running the solution. It started out as a point of POC before the solution was ready. And you can, when you get the slides, you can click on this link and see a YouTube video. And in the next slide, I just have added also some links on and more information from SAP on EWM. I'd like to point out the SAP EWM community, where it is a very robust community of customers, partners, and SAP product teams. And it also includes forums for asking questions, and it is a monitored forum that our product team participates in. And it really shows you can share information and read a lot about issues people have and the solutions that they found. And I'd encourage you, if you're, looking into EWM, and you can see that there is really a robust community, and then also other information sources from SAP on the solution. And now I'll turn it back over to Dimitri for the demos.
Thank you, Richard. I know those were a couple of interesting facts about recent updates in new EWM release 2022. Today, we'd like to do a quick demo of advanced production integration. Basically, the process that helps you to stage products for production and then execute consumption of those products from production into your warehouse. This is going to be a live system demo, so I apologize if there is any glitches or there is a little bit slow in the system, but I'm going to jump right into the system and we'll go through the dedicated steps. As you can see, we'll execute those creation of and release of the manufacturing order. We'll perform material staging for manufacturing order and go through the entire process. You will get those details, again, slides after the demo, and you will be able to follow up the process in the system. So we'll start our process with the creation of the process order right away into the system. And here we go. This is the first one, challenge accepted. So we're going to use dedicated material. So we'd like to basically produce 10 items of product 1. What it means for us, we would like to, we specify those details within the process order. We set up dedicated dates, and we'd like to execute it today with the current date. We're going to run our operations, generate operations for the system to pick up related components of the product. So let's check them out over here in the material list. We have components products 3 and number 4. Those are our ingredients, and we'll stage them for production. So we'll change the source of storage bin on those. And we're also going to go and update the resource on the operation part, so later we can execute it in our environment. And I'm going to go back into the header of my process order now and update again the storage location with LV02. With that, we can now release our order, and we can stage it with a warehouse management solution, in our case EWM. We can see that the material staging was executed successfully, and as soon as I'm going to save the order, so the order number is 138, is created successfully. I'm going to put it down on my cheat sheet, and we'll go back and now execute the next step for staging products for production. In our case, we're going to use our manufacturing or process order. And we see the components that we need to stage. So we're going to create warehouse tasks for this. And again, some of the terminology might be new for you, but warehouse task is a single and I would say atomic unit within the EWM for moving products within the warehouse. So first we have the warehouse task in the hierarchy, and then we have the warehouse orders that can combine different warehouse tasks. And this is what we're going to see. If we go and jump into details, we can see that we have a single warehouse order generated for our warehouse tasks. So if we go to the next one, we're going to see the same number, 1389, and it's combined 2 warehouse tasks, 1855 and 1854. So I'm going to write down this order number for our picking process, and so we can execute it later on. With that said, we're basically done. And we can go further. And we would like now to close the consumption. Actually, we need to first move those warehouse tasks. So I'm going to use RF transaction, my bad. We're going to use RF transaction to move those products into the staging area for production. Then we will be able to execute the consumption. So we are logging into our RF transaction over here. I'll use our resource. Oh, we're going to execute outbound processing. We're going to do picking, and we're going to execute picking by warehouse order. If you remember, we have this warehouse order 1389. And this way, we're going to execute the picking of our products. In our case, system went through and determined the source bin for each of those products, and we need to confirm it, as well as the quantities that we would like to pick. You can see now we're switching to the second product. And again, this is a destination bin, meaning we picked up products and we bring them to our staging area, production staging area, at a dedicated place within the staging area. Both of our components are now available for consumption. This is our next step, where we'll consume products, and as a result of the process operation, we'll get the finished product number product 1 generated, and we'll then consume it we'll execute goods receipt in our system. So this is our manufacturing order. We're going to run the consumption. So we see our components by the order, and we say how much we would like to consume each of those products. So we can see stock consumed successfully. And the same is done for the second component, and with that, the manufacturing order will be executed. What we need to do now, we need to prepare our goods receipt for from production. So we again operating with our manufacturing order. You can see everything is related. One source of data, one manufacturing order. We can do it all through the entire system. We're going to do copy of this manufacturing order, and we would like to generate the inbound delivery for the material product 01 to consume it into our warehouse. With that said, then we're going to save it. We're going to get the delivery number generated in the system. We can see all the details of the delivery. I need to pick it up. This is another option for almost in every EWM transactions where you can go to form view and you will be able to see details rather than scroll into a long list of data. So here we go. I'm going to again save this one, and we can see the delivery as related to our manufacturing order. So I'm storing my delivery as well, and we'll now process the inbound delivery. With that, we'll need to pack it, meaning those products 01 need to go on the handling unit, and this is a way we can consume products within the warehouse. So we'll execute I'm trying to maintain inbound deliveries transaction. This is our delivery. We can also do it by the manufacturing order if you would like to, if you keep in the record of only one document in your system, so it will be available for you as well, so we can find the delivery on our end. With that said, we're going to go to the follow-up functions and execute packing process. We have our product. You're going to use automatic packaging process. In the system, we have a packaging specification defined that will allow system to determine which packaging material to use based on the product settings. And you can see we apply the European pallet for our product, and it's all packed into it, 10 pieces into one single pallet. I'll grab the HU number. Here you can see all the details, which packaging specification was used, capacity, content, and all the information about the created handling unit. This is very flexible, very robust information for you. So we're going to save it. This is our packaging specification. And now we have inbound delivery with HU in it. What we're going to do now, we'll execute the creation of the warehouse task to execute the movement of those pallets into our warehouse to execute the put away process. Because our product is handling unit managed, so we have handling unit, and you can see it matches the one that we created. And currently it's at goods receipt production bin. We would like to move it into our warehouse from this production environment. We'll create and save our warehouse task, so system uses those algorithms we were talking about for optimized put away strategies. It will find the related and most relevant destination bin for this product. And you can see that we have another warehouse order created for us. This will use this warehouse order number to execute the put away activities. And with that, we're going to go back to our IRF transaction. I'm going to log in again. So for you to understand, some of those processes could be very much automated, and RF transactions in SAP are very flexible. As Richard mentioned, there is a lot of personalization now available. And one of the key items is that there are a lot of queues you can set up on how system will pick up which action need to be executed at a certain point. In our system, unfortunately, this is a demo environment. We have multiple operations running at the same time, so it might be hard to get the right order based on my setup. So that's why I'm using manual pickup, but this could be done as a system guided process, and put away will be executed. You will be advised by the system to execute the dedicated steps. So right now, we're going to confirm our source HU we'd like to move. And we see the destination bin is suggested by the system. We have destination bin 20, and our HU going to move to that bin. We're going to confirm. And now this stock is now available at our destination bin. So we can validate this while going into the inbound delivery. So maintain inbound deliveries. And we're going to see that goods receipt posted for our inbound delivery. So we can see the goods receipt is complete, with put away activities is complete. So with that said, you can see how simple the process is. At the same time, it touches every aspect of your production process, where you consume your products, you first stage your products, then you consume them, and then you execute the goods received from production. Straightforward, with all the documents that are available for you and transparent, and system will allow you to go back and use a single source document to trace down all the activities within your warehouse. With that said, we are on time to jump to our second demo, and this is where we look into dock appointment scheduling. I know many of you might facing those manual activities nowadays where you need to call your carrier, or you need to call your transportation company to execute your goods movement. I mean, move your freight from your distribution center to your customer, or execute to schedule those appointments, or if there is any conflicts. This is where dock appointment scheduling processes with EWM through, I would like to emphasize, we'll use business network for logistics, is a simple and convenient and reliable way to manage your dock appointments, to notify your carrier about any upcoming appointments or about any upcoming changes on your end, or carrier as well can do this from their side. So let me now connect to a different system. So you can see here we have a little different view of my launchpad. Again, there is many more roles I carry in this environment. We'll go into warehouse processing. And our demo will be very simple. We'll create a transportation unit in EWM. This is the way you manage your goods in and out of your warehouse. And we'll use a transportation unit to send an appointment to our carriers. So basically what we'll do right now, we'll execute the maintain transportation units application. So this system is a little slower, unfortunately, and we'll create a new transportation unit in the system. In a case of real process, this could be done automatically by the system. We'll pick up a carrier. In our case, we have a set of selected carriers. Let's see if it will show up. Yep. And those that are running with our business network for logistics are Emerline and Galaxy carriers. Let's go with the Emerline one. We'll pick up means of transportation. In our case, we'll pick up MTR, just a very simple process. MTR2, it will be an outbound delivery, and we're going to run it for today. We'll continue. So right now, and we're gonna save this transportation unit. I'm gonna write down the number for my notes. All right, and we'll go through the monitor, warehouse monitor, the tool we were talking about many times today. Okay, for some reason. All right, and we're gonna use the LBN monitor. One thing I just want to mention, this is the way for you can customize your warehouse monitor looking based on the different roles who access your warehouse monitor. In our case, we'll go back to outbound processes, outbound documents. We'll go to outbound shipping, my bad, and transportation unit overview, outbound. We'll execute the search, and we should be able to see our transportation unit. So did you remember the number that has been created? I wrote it down, and it's 315. So our TM demo 001, and it's available over here. So as you remember, I was talking about the form view, right? This is a way for us to see some details. Again, our carrier 121 airline, and there's not much further information. There is no driver license. There is no any other details. So let's do the trick. Let's send our appointment. So in our case, we have this new functionality available where we can send our LBN appointment. And to do that, because we have a carrier assigned to our transportation unit, the notification has been distributed by the system to our carriers. So if you can see it 121, we as a shipper, currently we can go into our own environment within the business network for logistics and see this appointment. In the meantime, while this application is loading, I will log into carrier 121 for us to be able to manage the appointment. Say which time. Go ahead, Tony.
I was going to say, while you're doing that, just some reminders. If anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat line or in the question and answer, and we'll make sure to answer them as well. Go ahead, Dmitry.
Thank you, Tony. So we are right now at self-booking doc appointments by the carrier, right? And we can see that we have this appointment for TM, transportation unit TM demo 001, and we can execute and maintain it. First of all, we can pick up different slots within the November 3rd today. So let's say we're going to go by 3 p.m. We can provide additional information like driver names. We're going to say it's going to be Mickey Mouse. Additional driver name, we don't need it. License number, we're going to say United States. And we can even provide some phone number. Reference documents if needed. You can create attachments to those and so on. With that, I will just do this and maintain this appointment. So now I'm going back to my shipper account, and I will show you how this appointment looks like. So if you can see, this is a transportation unit appointment for TM demo 001. We have our driver details, Mickey Mouse, and license plate, and everything that we were looking for. If you want to see other appointments through the day, it's easy for us to navigate and execute. What I want to do, I might change it, and I say, all right. This way, your system will send updates and do the appointments. At this point right now, if we go back to our EWM environment and execute the update, we should be able to see those appointments on our transportation unit. So we can see the driver TU details updated. We have say Mickey Mouse. We can see additional information that is needed over here. So with that said, this was a quick overview of how you can manage this integrated environment where EWM works together with other SAP products, in our case, Business Network for Logistics, for managing our dock appointments. Thank you. And with that said, as Tony mentioned, if you have any questions, you're welcome to send those in our chat, or we'll be able to provide you QR code later down the road where you can scan it and get back to us with any questions. And as I mentioned, EWM is definitely a solution with a lot of functionality, and it could cover a small one warehouse to a big one. Today, we would like to present you two of our use cases where LeverX team was able to work on different EWM releases at different clients at different scale. So what we're talking right now, we would like to present you the case of one of the automotive companies, automotive manufacturer, who is a former GM managed company in Uzbekistan. This company has more than 10,000 employees, and you can see there the rest of the details, like 300 vehicles produced annually. We have 60,000 vehicles in Pitnak and 10,000 vehicles in Tashkent. The company is export to more than 15 countries. The project itself was a duration of about 18 months, and I would like to emphasize this project. I mean, the implementation of the project was executed during the COVID time. We did collect the requirements before. We were lucky to get it done before, to be on site and get all the details, get with the team, but the implementation phase was executed during the COVID time, all remote. The project group was more than 100 SMEs with over 1,300 of unique users in the system. Solution that was implemented was SAP EWM S4 1909 embedded, meaning that core processes were all connected. You have one source of data, you have less data footprint. And the goal was to enable the transparency of the warehouse, minimize time spent for assembly lines, and scope. There were a couple of the critical items to be able to utilize suppliers' labels, to optimize containers processing, where containers should be a dedicated part of the warehouse and being managed within the warehouse. So you need to be able to execute the different packaging levels and so on. So it was a big project with a dedicated team of experts. So as a result, we got a unified environment for stock balance control and materials movement. We get up-to-date information about warehouse operations in real time. We were able to bring up RF terminals to all the aspects of the warehouse operations, and having those supplier labels processed. GM has a very strict standards on labeling their products, as well as they try to manage their suppliers to follow. This is where it was done relatively following GM guidelines. And as been mentioned, the process of containers using RF terminals is another big achievement within this project. Another project we would like to talk about is EWM implementation for pharmaceuticals. And in this case, it was based on SAP EWM 9.5 SCM release. Customer was migrating from SAP ECC VM solution, meaning you're still gaining benefits. VM solution, as Tony mentioned, the evolution from VM to SAP EWM S9.5 on SCM and now on S4. So the customer still looking into their current landscape, they were able to upgrade to 9.5 and get the benefits. And our task was to automate master data maintenance within the warehouse, optimize internal processes, and basically The key was to automation of inbound and outbound processes. As a result, you can see RF is everywhere, right? We were establishing barcode standards for raw materials, designing labels for packaging materials. We had a single label for storage unit from receipt of utilization to all changes recorded through this label. Same as for the USAuto for the automotive real-time warehouse operations overview and automatic packing of raw materials based on packaging specifications. Using RF terminals for raw materials movement and quality control, and other benefits of implementation of SAP EWM solution at a specific pharmaceutical company. With that said, I will pass it back to Tony.
Yes, we have a couple of questions here, guys. Richard, Dmitry, if you can assist with these. First question comes from Mohammed, and actually has two questions here, so I'll combine it. He asks, is there any solution for dynamic route determination on this release? His client requires dynamic route optimization, but I just find a third-party solution, or can we create our solution as well? And they're doing it without production orders on that.
It's a good question, Mohammed. So routing determination for process orders, is this what you question about? I think within EWM, it's more focused on storage and operations, inbound and outbound processes, where movement and routing is a little bit outside of EWM. While we can definitely consume this information as part of the process orders, and you can supply materials to the right route. I don't know, Richard, if you have anything to add to this.
Yeah, it's not clear to me if this is a route, like a transportation route. When you say dynamic routes, that sounds like transportation management, which can do that. But that is not within the EWM solution.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Richard.
One other question here, guys. There's a need to change the replacement strategies in the case of warehouse reorganization. How quickly can this be done?
Interesting. So replacement strategies, we're talking about the product replacement, or we're talking replenishment strategies?
It sounds to me like it's the put away strategy. And I would say that there's several ways that this can be done. I mean, first of all, you can do a lot of mass maintenance in the monitor, but also if you're using slotting, that can also update your placement strategies. We also introduced a few releases back let's say a kind of a warehouse light slotting that analyzes the velocity within the warehouse, and then that can, with a series of rules proposed to change put away strategies and do that in mass. So there's several possibilities where you can change the placement strategy indicators on materials.
All right, thank you. I actually heard of that particular solution. I understand that works actually quite well, that slotting light. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, I see Mohammed's other thing without production orders. So I think my answer about TM was probably it probably is production routing, and again that would be in the
EWM area. Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, anyway, again, if you have any questions regarding EWM, please, by all means, you can contact Dmitry or myself. We can even get back to Richard at SAP to try and, find the answers for you and get back to you on a timely basis. Now, regarding the poll results, rather interesting poll results. 40% of the participants today were on SAP EWM. Which I assume is the 9.5 scenario. 20% were on SAP S/4HANA. 20% are on other WMS solutions outside of SAP, and 20% are on nothing right now. So a wide distribution of this type of stuff. So let's go to the next slide. And with our conclusion, I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, for all your time today. And thank you to Dimitri and Richard. Great job, guys. But as we just stated, with the SAP WMS solution being sunset at the end of 2027, there's going to be a strong market demand to start planning for S4 EWM migration. And so when you start doing your blueprint, it's going to be necessary to start your timing for this right now in order to start the planning for migration over. So that being said, if there's anything we can do, LeverX or SAP, please, by all means, let us know. We're more than happy to assist with blueprint, with implementation, migration, you name it. So on that note, I just wanted to thank you once again for your time today. Appreciate it, and hope to hear from you all soon. That's it. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. I would like to thank our host, Tony, for his driving this webinar today. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. And again, thank you, everyone, for joining and spending your time with us today. Thank you, Richard, for being able to spend your time with us and provide us the latest updates on SAP latest functionality. Again, thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.